right, we're back in Dayton, getting set now for BYU in the white uniforms against Iona. A couple of at-large teams, had 14 seeds, and this should be quite a matchup. Jim Nantz along with Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Tracy Wolfson here courtside at the University of Dayton Arena. I want to apologize for some of the audio issues we recently experienced. Glad to have everything in working order as we get started with the Gales getting blocked down low. BYU 25-8 on the year. Hartsock with the turnaround, no, and the rebound pulled down by DeZouvre of the Iona Gales, who were 25-7 this year. Inside, DeZouvre is fouled on the shot, and that's going to be on Hartsock. There's Tim Luce in his second year on the Iona bench. He played in an NCAA tournament game for St. John's against that Joe Barry Carroll bunch from Purdue. And 30 years
Rhodes
back, he's done quite a job here in his second season. Taking BYU back to the tournament, a sixth straight year the Cougars are in the field. There's the pass snap to Zylstra, back to Davies, and then the rejection by DeZouvre.
Well, you see the kind of pace that this game is going to be played with. Both teams really want to get up and down the floor. We're going to see a foul on Abuo. And I think, Clark, what I'm interested in is how much does BYU run? Because their advantage definitely lies inside with the big men, Davies, and of course Noah Hartsock.
Well, Dave Rose told me yesterday they want to play fast and they want to get good, quick shots, but they need to do it through the post. And the fact that both big guys can run, as DeZouvre knocks one down, and then they forget about Davies behind the press.
Well, that was a quick basket to match as Davies left alone.
Obviously a missed assignment there on that pressure defense. Iona's going to try to put a lot of heat on Matt Carlino, the BYU point guard. And if he can handle it and get the ball up the court, the Cougars will have plenty of scoring opportunities.
There's Jones blocked. And actually they'll call it a tie up there.
Armand Jones is a terrific scorer. Momo Jones. Armand, a great shooter for Iona. Both of these teams score the ball extremely well. 83 points a game leads the nation for Iona. BYU is averaging 78 points a game. Skilled players, so I think we're going to see a high quality of basketball, though a good steal by DeZouvre.
Boy, is DeZouvre off to a good start. Got that block, the jumper, and now the lay-in.
You can see the way Iona plays. They're kind of like a poor man's Missouri. You know, they've got four guards and a really good big man inside in Glover, and they're going to spread you out. They're going to mix up their zone and their man-to-man as Carlino misses the jumper. And they want to get out and score.
Abuo hits the shot for BYU.
Boy, Abuo epitomizes the kind of guys I label value utility guys, as Momo Jones casts one from three. This does a lot of things that go beyond his numbers and stat line. Loose balls, rebounds, toughness. The extra pass. He might not get a lot of assists, but he'll make the pass that leads to the assist. Rotating defensively. I mean, he just gives you all of the intangibles you want. This kid's got a great, I'm not talking about a good stroke. This kid, Sean Armand, has a terrific stroke.
BYU's Davies had picked up a foul. He's got one. Hartsock has one. Two of the stars for the Cougars. Here is Davies. Baseliner bouncing around a couple of times. No. And that's off Abuo. Back to the Gales.
Yeah, I don't like that shot. That's something that BYU likes to do. They're normally at their best when they're playing fast, but against Iona, I think they've got to be a little more judicious with their shot selection and go inside. That was a kind of a fadeaway 17-footer for Davies.
And that's a settled shot as opposed to an intentional shot. Go and get what you want. And I'm right with you on that, Steve.
That is
inside out.
Davies, who forces the steal. Carlino takes it inside and scores. Nice move by Matt Carlino, the freshman from Scottsdale, Arizona. But quickly at the other end, it's Jones scoring.
They will run on mades or misses. And here's Abuo. And this is what Iona's going to feast on. Quick shots. And they're going to come right back at you.
Nifty move, and it results in 2 for Machado. Scott Machado, senior from Queens, and racing down at the other end. Boy, what a pace we have here early.
No surprise there, Jim.
Davies lays it in.
That was a great move.
Found around a couple of Iona players on the baseline to free himself. Soufre, nothing there, so he gives it up. And there's the jumper, and it drops. And Jones again. Momo Jones, who's played against BYU before, but that was when he was at Arizona.
Yeah, played there his first 2 years, transferred to Iona, basically to be near his ailing grandmother, so he was granted eligibility right away, did not have to sit out. Meanwhile, Carlino knocks down the long jumper.
Yeah, it was a 2. He had a foot on the line. Soufre again. They beat BYU down the floor. And Iona leads at 15-10.
Steve, so far I like what I've seen from Carlino. He's handling the press pretty well. He's moving the ball, getting into decent shot opportunities. Good cut by Hartsock, and we get our first break. Take a pause, fellas. This has been rapid fire basketball.
So BYU to inbound here, trailing 15-10. Took a while to have 25 points on the board in the first game.
Yeah, like 2 hours or so.
Yeah, how about 10 minutes? Actually, about 12 and a half minutes, Jim.
Got a turnover committed by the Cougars. And Armand, that's that stroke you talked about, Clark.
I'm telling you, you give this guy any kind of space and time, he is splashing that thing from anywhere inside the building.
BYU turns it over again. Just look at the form on the jumper.
Textbook.
Armand delivers it.
Had 10 threes in a game earlier this year at Madison Square Garden. Set a record.
This is a nice record to have, by the way.
Yeah.
It's the all-time Garden record.
Yeah, not just college.
Not just college, not just, nobody in the NBA has ever done that, obviously. Sean Armand with 10 threes in a game at the Garden. Building record.
Well, you play with a guy like Machado and you have the stroke that he has.
Hey! Whoa, he's done it again. That's a 2 now. They had a foot on the line. Doubled up BYU here in the early stages at 20-10. BYU, a Sweet 16 team a year ago. And now they've turned it over a 3rd straight trip. Armand doubled up, and that forces the turnover. BYU trying to end a 7-0 stretch here by the Gales. Zylstra.
Don't get sucked into that if you're BYU. Open shots in this game are not enough. They've got to be good open shots that make Iona guard.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Steve. You're all over it.
Glover dunks it home. Iona's hit its last 8 shots from the field. Timeout, BYU. Iona explodes to the early lead by 12. Dave Rose called that timeout, trying to settle his team down. Gotten a little sloppy, turning it over, and the Gales lead it by 12.
Well, Jim, the dilemma for Dave Rose is that his team really likes to play up-tempo. And so I think they feel like if they slow it down, they're not playing their game.
Yeah, they're not themselves.
Right. But the problem is they're taking such quick shots. They've got to do this, get the ball inside, move it, go side to side with it.
Winder into the game, has it stripped away. That's 5 turnovers. Armand comes in and drives it in for 2.
I'll tell you what, the Gales, they're like a gale of wind when they get a turnover.
You're talking Gale force?
Yes,
is that what you mean?
That's exactly what I mean.
And they've scored 11 unanswered. Got an Iona foul down at this end of the floor. It's on James.
That time you saw Glover take the ball off the rim and take a couple dribbles. That's something he's added to his game this year. They've got several guys who can lead the break.
Winder missing on the 2-point shot.
Nice box out by Armand on Brandon Davies there.
Jamel Jenkins into the game for Iona. Inside to James. Had in an awkward position and unable to convert. Abuo with a jumper and rolls off the rim. Tapped outside to James. Whips it back to Glover. Put back by James.
Boy, this team is fun to watch.
They really are, Steve. They're skilled, they're unselfish, and they're excellent in the open court.
Davies tries to dump it off to Hartsock, and that's another BYU turnover. Nate Austin comes into the game looking for the right combination as the Cougars trail the Gales by 16. It's just 7.5 into the game.
Well, you look at the sharpness with which Iona has played, and you can't help but think about the long distance travel for BYU. Actually went through a little bit of a practice when they got here yesterday.
Inside.
Boy, they really find people.
Souvre back out to Jones. One on the shot clock. Oh, what a hit. Momo Jones beats the shot clock and then gets the ball into his hands at the other end. That was a two-point shot he made. Now driving in. Blocked by Austin. Harlino short with the shot. Underneath Silstra, pinned under the cylinder. Has to come out with it.
Jim, I think, and Steve, I think BYU has to find a way to get something at the rim.
No question.
I mean, these quick perimeter shots are just fueling the Iona Gales.
Iona, some were questioning, did they belong in the tournament? Man, are they showing their stuff right now?
And they say it's about proving they belong. Kind of like another team we know from last year's First Four, and Klus made sure to bring up VCU, saying anything is possible, guys.
Very good parallel there, Tracy. VCU came out of Dayton, and they went on, of course, all the way to the Final Four, to the national semifinals before they ran out of Butler.
Hey, you know, there's nothing wrong with having that edge, that hunger, that desire to want to prove, but you better bring some game with you, too. And both of these teams, we talk about VCU last year, and this team right here, they've got the ingredients to get it done. I mean, they've got skill and talent, togetherness, unselfishness.
And it'll be interesting to see again this year if we see a pattern of, you know, rhythm and timing and momentum which VCU had by playing this extra game.
That is Hartsock scoring inside. That ends a stretch of 15-0 run by Iona.
And don't forget, BYU hasn't played in 10 days because the WCC conference tournament was the weekend before most tournaments.
That's right.
Jones has the shot contested. Loose ball picked up by Winder.
Steve, I think that's a great point. You know, Roy Williams has always said, and I think he got it from Gene Smith, that you build momentum in the tournament. But when you have extended layoffs that disrupt the normal routine of practice and game, it takes a little time to get reacclimated to that.
Winder with the three-point shot. Glover goes to the other side, unable to convert. Ahead to Zylstra.
Dave Rose has gone with his backup point guard.
Yeah, Cusick.
And let Cusick settle things down for his club.
The winner to take on Marquette in the next round. And that's now 7 unanswered by BYU. Hartsock. And a timeout called. Forget the shot. Timeout called by Coach Klus. So BYU with a little flurry here. 7 unanswered. And now on Air Force One heading back to our nation's capital. For the ongoing talks with Prime Minister tomorrow. Here's the pass over to Jenkins, and Jermel Jenkins hits the jumper.
That basket all made by the pass. That was clearly a basket that resulted because of a good on-time pass right when the shooter was ready to catch and stroke.
And we saw the other adjustment that Dave Rose has made, which is going to this zone the last few possessions. So he's doing a good job of trying to regain control, or at least gain some kind of control in this game in terms of tempo.
Cusick, backup point. Ball tapped around, and Austin has it. And tried to bang it out of bounds off the leg of an Iona player. But the Gales were able to get the recovery. Jenkins, pull-up jumper, no. Tapped into the hands of Austin, who's been lively in his minutes off the bench.
He sure has been. He and Kusic both have done a nice job, and there's Austin.
And now he hits the three. So BYU has cut it to 10, to being down by as many as 18.
Well, you know what both of these teams have, don't you, Jim?
Spurt ability.
Right on cue.
That's the first of the tournament. Smythe with the jumper, and BYU and its backups, many of them out there on the floor right now, trying to turn this around. Here's the same point on the floor, not this time for Austin, and Glover with the rebound. Glover, 2 straight years, first team all conference. With the 3, and he buries it.
Boy, do they have a lot of guys who can fill it up.
They do. They really do, Steve.
Tough shot. Well defended, in fact. It was Machado who was defending. Iona saves it over by the bench.
Oh, look at that pass.
Scoots it up ahead, and a foul. Going to be a foul on Zylstra. As Zufre is able to cash in. What a pass up the floor.
Man, this is why NBA scouts have been flocking to the Iona campus this year. This kid's passing ability, he's an NBA player, and you see his vision and his unselfishness, his strength. Boy, Scott Machado, beautiful.
He keeps it simple, too, Steve. You rarely see him try to do this spectacular. It stays pretty simple. 7 dimes, but I love already gets his head up right away.
Think about that.
Defender.
He's on pace for about backup junior from White Plains, New York, before for Iona. As Brock Zylstra brings the ball up.
Interesting, BYU's gone small now to try to match with Iona. That advantage that they had with their 2 bigs really hasn't played out.
And nice work inside. Good footwork there by Brandon Davies.
They put a Buo at the 4. That allows them to match up much better defensively with this explosive small lineup of Iona.
And that does not hit anything for Rashad James. Kusek from the wing with the 3. And impressively grabbed by 2 hands by James. Jumper good. Oh, jumper good by Jermel Jenkins. And another timeout called by Brigham Young. Boy, it didn't take long for Iona to up that lead to 17.
In points per game, so boy, but another spurt here by Iona has pushed this lead back out to 17. For BYU, you've got to go inside first.
Davies, and that pass right into the hands of Jenkins. Here to come up the floor. Machado takes it home for 2 more.
I'll tell you what, Steve, I'm really impressed with the speed of this team.
Oh, man.
I've watched them on TV and tape a lot, but it doesn't do justice to their speed from one end to the other.
11-2 run, and Carlino unable to hit it from 3. Look at these passes and how quick they get it around. Smythe almost got caught. There it's Machado. He hits the 3, a 14-2 stretch, and now doubling up BYU at 44-22.
It's the extra pass. Every possession, they make that extra one. Davies gets all the way to the rim. But you just love the unselfishness of this club.
How about the spacing too, Steve?
Oh, boy.
I know you relish that.
That's why I mentioned, the Missouri comparison.
Yeah, good call.
The way that team spreads you out. And here's that extra pass we're talking about. You see Smythe, he has it. Nope, Machado's got a better one, and he knocks it down.
Since 1980, the last time that conference produced an at-large team, that would be Manhattan, which went on, by the way, to beat Oklahoma in the tournament. And look what they're doing so far.
Tracy made a great comparison with the VCU story from a year ago. And it's so similar in terms of the way each team plays, too. Great passion, great energy, togetherness.
Glover knocks it home.
Well, that's the other weapon they have. They can go inside when they don't have a transition hoop.
And it's going to go back to BYU.
Glover, an all-conference selection, average 18 points, 9 boards per game. And what a perfect compliment to all these shooters. When you got a big, strong guy in the middle for those drop-offs and offensive rebounds.
He's crafty down there, too, because he's really not that tall, but he's long. And there he is getting his hands on the ball there and creating a transition opportunity.
Machado hits the trailer. Now that's a beautiful assist and a foul. That's that court awareness right there.
These guys get up on you in a nanosecond. Do you hear me? I mean, that ball was deflected at the foul line, and I'm telling you, it was at the rim in about 2.2 seconds.
Guys around him who can run.
That's what I mean.
Threes. It is beautiful to watch.
It sure is, man. They call soccer the beautiful game.
Yeah.
When you play basketball like this is the beautiful game.
We had the ugly game, the first one.
That's Davies scoring in traffic and drawing a foul on top of it.
16 down and about 4.
No offense to Western
right around
Kentucky,
5
but
what they did.
It wasn't what we're watching here.
Amazing
finishes we've ever seen.
Certainly one. I've not seen anything like that before.
22-5, the last 4.5 minutes to win it by 1. Pass thrown inside, and that's off Iona. Now, is a comeback possible in this game? We've still got a long, long way to go, but BYU, it has been a mighty struggle here at the beginning.
Well, you know, Jim, when Iona lost in their conference tournament to Fairfield, they lost their momentum after a pretty strong first half. And they got to take care of the ball. And all of a sudden, Fairfield swung side to side. Really, it's possible for BYU
Winder with
to get to that point, but they've got to adapt.
And Winder has 5 now on the night. Machado wraparound pass, and he's got another assist. It almost didn't go down for Glover. That's now 9 assists. Harrison in the game, hits the floater. Nice move. DeMarcus Harrison coming in, freshman from Greenwood, South Carolina. And tipped by Winder. Saved by James. Ball on the floor, and the arrow's going to stay with Iona.
I don't know how BYU can slow this down, Steve. Can you see a way they get it slowed down effectively? Well, because they're at a disadvantage speed-wise.
Yeah, they tried zone. Yeah. They tried some zone, and they may have to go back to that. But Iona shoots the ball so well.
Right.
It's at this end, though, where I think they can have some success.
Hartsock.
You know, the other thing that might help is not only if they score, but if they can get to the foul line.
Right.
That's one way to try to slow down a high-octane team.
Glover again.
Mike Glover.
And to be fair to BYU, I mean, Iona looks like the Miami Heat right now. I mean, this is an incredible performance.
Armand may have. No, he seems like he's okay. I thought he maybe had tweaked an ankle or something.
Carlino out, Cusick in for BYU. Smythe coming back on the floor for Armand, shaken up. Armando appears to be okay.
Beautiful spacing there, Jim, on that drive and draw and dropping off the dime from Armand to Glover, but the spacing outstanding.
Davies, and there to take it away is Jones. Smythe to the corner with the 3. No. Jenkins off the mark that time. Winder. And that's going to be a call against Iona. It's going to be called on Glover. And it's back-to-back trips down that floor where the Gales have had players knocked down. A little scary moment, but they're both okay, both Armand and Glover.
Knee bump. Right knee of Winder to the left knee of Glover there. You'll see it from this angle, perhaps.
Winder at the line.
Right knee of Winder.
They'll have another one.
There. Actually, it was a left knee.
His perimeter
left
shot.
knee to left
I think the reason they
anytime
switch was to try to put as much pressure offensively on BYU right from the beginning, and it obviously worked.
Now it fails to fall, but they get an open shot every time, don't they? Facing the floor.
They do.
Davies out of control.
Out of control, yeah.
That's a traveling violation. The under 4 timeout. 23-point lead for Iona. Well, Machado in this game, no turnovers, 9 assists.
And how about 29 fast break points for Iona in the first half? 29-11. Unbelievable. They're shooting the lights out. They're spacing the floor. I mean, this can't continue. There's just no way.
Well, this has been a blitzkrieg. They're playing this game on roller skates, guys. They're doing it under control.
What do you think Marquette's doing right now watching this game? You got to be
Wait a
kidding me.
minute.
This is not a 14 seed.
I tell you what, those seed numbers, we've talked about it in years past. It's wonderful on Selection Sunday to have a nice number next to your name, but the first thing you're thinking about is, what is my matchup? Where are the danger spots? Where are the trouble spots? How do we get through our bracket? And this is the kind of team that you don't necessarily want to see, but if you're going to get to a championship, you're going to have to beat some good teams sooner or later.
Sooner in Marquette's case.
Got that right.
Jones, no. And that's going back to BYU. That was the 38th field goal attempt by Iona and only 3 turnovers. Cusick met with pressure right away. Back to double up on the way. Break it with Hartsock. Hartsock dishes to Davies, to the paint. Gets it back and dunks it home.
Boy, I like his footwork. He's been aggressive, but it just hasn't been enough because Iona has been able to capitalize on turnovers, and I think this is the high level mark of how well Iona can play. I think this is the ceiling. I don't think they can play any better.
No. So, man, I think BYU will have a chance to get back into the game. I mean, Iona can't shoot like this. Cougars go back to his zone. If they can knock down a couple shots like that one and continue to pound the ball inside to Hartsock and Davies, they'll have a chance to climb back in.
I agree with you because you know Iona isn't going to really back off of the throttle. And if they start to miss some shots, then BYU would have an opportunity to get back going, get back in it.
Well, that was Harrison with the rebound after hitting a 3 at this end of the floor. He's got 5 off the bench.
Swing the ball, get it to the other side.
Gotta get rid of it now.
There you go. Keep it moving, though.
And Hartsock open, top of the key. Fortunate to get it over to Winder without a turnover.
Gotta keep the dribbling to a minimum against a team that's quicker. Oh, should have passed that. Yep.
Harrison.
Passed it on the catch.
And that was Machado who drew it.
Machado anticipated that pass and got in the passing lane, and Harrison just couldn't make the play.
I think Harrison was already into that rhythm bounce, we call it.
Yeah.
You know how sometimes guys want to get their balance by bouncing the ball. Machado was right there to disrupt all of that.
Final 90 seconds of the first half. Inside to Zoufre, that slides off the front of the rim. Cusick gets it back, gets it under control to Winder, and that's another 3 by the Cougars. From 25 at one time, it's now 15.
Well, they're finally starting to take care of the ball. You know, they're getting clean passes from one side to the other, and all of a sudden things are freeing up a little bit for the Cougars.
Inside, off the rim for Ridley, and that's going back to BYU. It's all coming up on AT&T at the half. Reach in call against Zoufre. And it'll be a 1-and-1.
The game played at this pace.
Coach Dave Rose and his team
12-13-point deficit.
Work it down to
overcome in a matter of minutes.
margin they can deal with. The 1-and-1.
Well, you need to cash those in. Now you got to come up with the stop here. You'll most likely have another opportunity if you're BYU offensively. So a stop and a chance to score, and you've got an awful lot to feel good about in these last 3 minutes.
It's been a 9-0 run by the Cougars.
Make sure you don't let him shoot it. Armand.
And Hartsock.
Make sure you get the last one now.
Gains control of it. BYU now with 20 seconds. Gusek from the wing. That's short. Could have had the last shot of the half.
Exactly.
Instead, Iona can cash in, and he's on the line. That's Ridley on the in line, and BYU has plenty of time here to get off a good shot. 6.6.
Futility both ways there. Poor shot clock management, because after BYU didn't take the last shot, Iona should have.
For sure. Machado thought he had a layup for his teammate, but Ridley just couldn't come up with it. Tough pass to handle. That's Machado's first turnover.
Carlino brings it up. Now with 2. Pull up 3. And it hits the end line. So Jenkins will inbound for Iona. Don't see anyone at the far end of the floor. Not much time to catch and shoot here. And they'll just take the huge lead to the locker room. BYU closes with a 16-6 stretch. But Iona leads it 55-40 at halftime.
We saw, I think, the ceiling of what Iona can do. I don't know if they can play much better than they did in that first half. Now, somewhere between the basement and ceiling is where most teams are. Let's see how it plays out here in the next 20 minutes.
Hartsock has it swatted away, and that's a reach-in call on Carlino.
Like what I saw there, though, Steve, they did go right inside to try to get Hartsock an opportunity in the post. He was just denied without drawing a foul.
Hartsock in that first half with 6 points.
BYU goes back to that 2-3 zone, which I think was at times effective in the first half. Looks like they're maybe even trapping out of it a little bit, though. Here they go.
Not a hard trap, but in the neighborhood, boy, you can't reach there. Davies got a break. You'd like to see him step on that baseline and dissuade that drive.
15 on the shot clock. And stolen away by Carlino, who's got a man up ahead. And that little knockdown for a moment prevented by Armand. Prevented maybe a breakaway basket. Fadeaway is good by Hartsock.
That's his shot. He loves stepping back over that right shoulder and kind of beating the defender to the punch, just beating him up, you know, to the release before the defender can get a hand up.
This is slowing down things for the explosive Gales. Hitting the shot is Machado. Carlino lost the handle going up. Right back Machado. And a foul as he takes a spill to the floor. Had that the BYU defender and Machado at the line. Like he was going to give it up.
A couple of big hoops. And you could just feel that BYU, they cut it to 13.
Just looked over to his right.
That was about all possessions. Iona gets right back into their groove.
Well, you heard Dave Rose talk about we've got to take care of the ball, and what leads to that three-point play? The turnover.
Winder off the mark with that, and it's Glover with the rebound.
You didn't like that one,
I didn't like that one.
Yeah, I saw you throw your hands up in exasperation there.
Here's Harrison taking off Machado, coming back to defend. Oh, and it is able with all that spin to find his way home. Harrison's looked good coming into this game. The freshman got 7 points.
Nice job off the bench, Dave Rose. And you need that when things are coming fast and furious and you're down big right away. You need those second unit players to come in and make an impact.
Knocked out by Winder with 9 seconds on the shot clock.
Of this lead in 3-4 minute segments, guys, and they're doing a good job of being able to slow things down right now.
Armand doubled up, has to force it up to beat the shot clock. Almost tipped in by Glover, or was it Hartsock? Those two were battling for it. BYU comes out with it. Carlino puts it up wildly. Didn't know where to go with it. Glover takes middle, goes wing. Machado bounce pass back. There's another one of those beautiful assists.
That's what Carlino has had happen to him here, is he's gotten in a rush in the game. He's turned it over, but he's also taken some quick shots.
There you go. And sometimes that's as good as a turnover.
Yep. Because this team will run so quickly. Bad shots always lead to bad transition defense. And then when you've got a point guard like this,
Oh, man.
I mean, he'll pick you apart.
That is a room service dime if I ever saw one. All I do is just catch it and scoop it into the goal.
Carlino is taken out. Cusick comes in for him at the point.
Steve, I was primarily an inside guy, although I could go out on the perimeter some. You were a shooter. How much fun would it be to play with a guy like Machado?
Man. Are you kidding me?
Oh, my goodness.
Here he puts up a three.
You know, those 9 assists he had in the first half, he had 6 different teammates on the receiving end of those assists.
And that speaks to the arsenal of weapons that this Iona Gales team has in terms of offensive firepower. I actually did a Purdue game mid-February. Matt Painter said the most talented team he thought his team had played to that point was this Iona team. In terms of offensive firepower and the ability to come at you from a lot of different angles and putting the ball in the basket.
They had met early in the season, and it came down to a late Hummel winning shot. That was down in Puerto Rico. Beat him by 1. Beat Iona by 1, that is. Davies with the flat-footed rebound this time. Reach in, foul. And it's on to Zoufre, his third. It's good. That was back in 1987. It was a Final Four team found its way to New Orleans with Armin Gilliam. And that crew for Jerry Tarkanian. Who knows? It could be a little outside possibility. We already have one record here tonight in the building. That pass thrown out of bounds. The comeback now confirmed by the NCAA. It's the biggest comeback in the last 5 minutes of an NCAA tournament game in history.
Wow.
16 down in the last 5 minutes. An all-time record in the 74-year history of this great event.
We made history on a number of accounts.
The president
The
being
first
here.
fan and prime minister.
Yep.
Britain.
Jones and Hartsock pulling it down. BYU can't afford many empty trips.
Good call, Jim.
And Davies has that shot contested. That was Hartsock trying to tap it home, and Iona's on a break. Dribble almost got away from Glover.
There you go. Throw it to Machado. That's always a good choice.
Not a bad safety valve there. But Jim, you're so right on it when you talk about not being able to afford many empty trips if you're trying to come back against a high-powered team when you're trailing big. You got to get baskets or get to the foul line.
They head to the benches with Iona back in front now by 18. That took place in the game against Ohio University back in 1970, and the Bobcats are back in the tournament this year, and there's a young lad playing for Ohio by the name of Nick Kellogg. Clark, good luck.
Thank you.
To your son. Well, what a great story, that team. Fine young man. I've had a chance to meet your son on a couple of occasions and made large contributions to them, to their cause this year.
I noticed he's a much better free throw shooter than you ever were.
Oh, no question. He's got a nice
like
stroke.
91% or something.
He doesn't get there a lot. Looking forward to seeing what the Bobcats can do against the Wolverines on Friday in Nashville. I think it'll be a very competitive matchup.
Davies, big step to the hole, and he's rewarded. Brandon Davies. He's really come on since January.
Iona no longer trapping up and down the floor. They're kind of sitting back in his zone. They may be tired from all that energy they expended in the first half, both defending and scoring.
That will be the first turnover of the night against Machado. Actually,
I think he had one other.
He did have another one. Inside back to Davies. Hartsock And BYU go back-to-back trips. He'll go to the line. Hartsock.
This is what happens to Iona when the game slows
Twice
down. They're
this
so
season,
small,
Iona
but if you can pound them,
surrendered
you can hit the offensive glass. And all of a sudden, you kind of gain
leads.
control of the tempo.
Lost games,
But
they led by 18. Once against Manhattan, another time against Siena. And at one time in this one, Iona led 49-24. 25-point lead at one time in that first half. Now at 14. Feed in the corner, Smythe. And that fast-closing defender forced that shot short. Harrison. Big three here, and he's fouled. He'll go to the line for three
as
attempts.
much as they did in the first half.
That's a different team.
Really starting to
they
turn
shot
apart because what you said, Steve,
back into the game.
BYU going inside, playing through Hartsock.
And 2 out of 3 at the line by Harrison. Down to 12. Machado. Pull down Hartsock.
Nothing easy in this half for Iona. Everything's been a jumper. They're not forcing the turnovers. They're not pressing. I think they may want to go back to that press. The pressure that got to BYU in the first half.
Rand Davies cuts it down to 10. Is it a building of comebacks tonight? BYU with new hope. Turnaround jumper, and it's down to 10. Clark and I, along with Tracy, will all be heading to Greensboro for second and third round action. Ken Mack and Jim Cornell will honcho the production and direction of the broadcast tomorrow, doing a superb job here tonight. There's been an exciting night of basketball in Dayton, and this one's starting to get, well, it's starting to pick up in the interest level because it was all Iona early as BYU comes out with another theft. 25-point lead at one point in the first half. Threatened to blow him out of the building, and this could cut it to 7. And it does, Zylstra.
They've figured out what they're doing finally. It took them a long time, but the ball movement, the spacing, the tempo, and it feels like Iona, it's almost like trying to bleed out the clock. There's just way too much time.
That's what it looked like. You know, Steve, we're watching them. The zone, though, can cause you to get a little tentative.
Yeah.
It really can. If you don't have a really intentional mindset about attacking seams and trying to get that ball moving, the zone can lull you to sleep.
This is huge. Harrison with a 3, down and out.
Good look.
Iona wanting to run again, like they did in the first half. Machado had his close down. From the floor, taps it back. Armon with the 3. Glover inside. And that's a tie-up. Arrow stays at this end with Iona. You know, you go back to the last 4 minutes, almost 5 minutes of the first half. Iona has scored now only 7 points in almost 14 minutes of action.
Respond.
Oh, it's blocked by Hartsock and picked up by Davies. They are anchored down in their low in the post now. That defense for BYU not yielding anything. Turnaround. Hartsock, yes! Down to 5.
That shot is money.
Whole lot of time to go.
That is his ATM.
Yeah.
Cash money shot. And he can turn and go right over the top. He's usually a little taller than most defenders. He does a nice job getting the space that he needs for that shot.
Reminds me a little bit of Luke Herringody from Notre Dame a couple years ago with those little kind of in-between fadeaway shots that he had.
Stolen by Davies. BYU on a 13-0 run. Pass is thrown away over the head of Hartsock.
Only the 4th turnover this half for BYU after 13 in the first half.
Well, they've really found a lineup that has worked for them. Cusick has come in, done a nice job of controlling the ball. And who knew that DeMarcus Harrison would see important minutes here tonight. Hardly played in the WCC Conference Tournament.
Yeah, that conference, which has put St. Mary's and Gonzaga also into the tournament field. It's a strong one. BYU gets the ball back. Iona just stifled there on offense. They've gone over 7 minutes without even scoring. Davies, Zylstra thought about it, but Jones closed in on him. Drives in, and it's going to be a block ball on Iona.
Against this Iona zone, Davies made out of plenty of opportunities. He didn't make that pickup shot.
Exactly.
He was trying to score. That's why he had 5 turnovers.
Was first a part of this program at BYU.
You see the
ball of 2006. Went on a mission to New Zealand. He's 0 for 2 at the line there. Quick fire, no good. Right back to Cusick.
I like the shot, though. I mean, that's their game. That's what they've got to do. Good push by Machado.
Davies.
Glover's got to be careful. He's got 3 fouls, rather. I think they're going to give Machado.
Second one on Machado. Last 2 trips down the floor, in fact.
If you're Iona, you got to pick up the intensity.
Exactly.
That's what caused that near turnover. I like to see more activity in this zone.
There's a 3rd team foul. BYU another chance to trim that lead. Step up to Cusick. No, tapped up by Davies. Hartsock with the putback. The 2 big guys from BYU are controlling the inside now. 3-point game.
And that was the concern of Tim Kluse. Could his team rebound effectively with the bigger Brigham Young front line? And right now, everything going BYU's way. That's an awful
up there. Inside of 9 minutes to play, a 3 would tie it. Again, the 2 men inside, and the ball's knocked out by Iona.
As you can see, the pressure didn't even bother BYU that time. Those were turnovers the entire first half. They found their spacing. Iona may be tired, though. They're not nearly as quick to the ball as they look.
That's a good point, Steve. They do look to be less engaged here, and that's Cash.
Hartsock down the 1. 62-61. BYU has never led in this game. Trailed by 25 in the first half. Iona, just nothing happening at this end. Almost 9 minutes without scoring. The last 17 points to the Cougars. And that's going to be a reach-in on Cusick. His first.
I think it was the offense that became the defense for BYU. Because they were able to score the ball and play inside out, it allowed them to get into this zone defense.
Iona's missed its last 11 shots. Here's an open look from the wing, and yes! That's a big one by Jermel Jenkins. And that was a 3.
And that allows them to extend their defense now. And you can see a little bounce in the step of the Iona players. I think they were discouraged there. That was a huge shot for Jenkins.
Their first points in 9 minutes and 16 seconds, and it goes the other way. Davies called for that foul. Called for the offense. Much needed. Senior from Union, New Jersey, drills it from the corner. Gale's back up.
They need to get some shots to go and pick up the pace. Let's see how they execute in the half court. That's where the struggle has been, because BYU has been able to score and slow things down a bit and get settled into this zone. Iona has to be able to attack it, get into the seams, and then knock down some perimeter shots.
You saw Machado's numbers. Different story from the first half. Glover pinned underneath. And that's going to stay with the Gales.
This zone has really flustered Glover. Every time he gets the ball down there, they're double teaming. And there's really not much of an angle to throw the ball back out to the perimeter.
That's why I think they've got to do it on the perimeter. Penetrate and pitch, get in the seam.
Got 7 on the shot clock, and that's the second time Cusick has reached in.
That's a tough one there you just mentioned, Jim.
Seven minutes to play here in Dayton. Jenkins has it stripped away. Cusick fires it up ahead to the corner. Harrison with a 3. BYU again back within 1.
How about this young man's game tonight?
Stepped up big time to Marcus Harrison.
I'll tell you what, Iona has been far too passive and careless with the ball this half.
In the paint, Jenkins. He's the one player who's producing at that end of the floor this half for the Gales.
You got to get into the seams against the zone. You can't be content to throw it around east to west. You got to get in the teeth of it.
Well defended that time by Iona. And had a back foot out of bounds.
Yeah, ran out of real estate there. It can happen sometimes when you're running that lane wide.
That's a big break for BYU because this is where good things happen.
He was not out of bounds.
He was not.
His heel did not come down, so an unfortunate break going against Iona there.
So 11th turnover this half. Like a tale of two halves. That's what BYU was doing the first 20 minutes.
They had a couple of times 25 down to 1. Will they be able to get it all the way back? Hartsock had it knocked loose. 19 seconds on the shot clock. Harrison comes off the screen. Into the paint, the floater. And that is going to be an offensive foul. His second.
Good length, pretty good speed, nice stroke. Let's see if Iona can get back into the lane. The last opportunity was Jenkins getting into the middle of the free throw lane area for a nice little runner. That area is open if you can get that ball swung. And
Jenkins not that time. This to tie it. Harrison. Buo tried to tap that people alive for BYU, but it's back to the Gales. Machado driving in. And he's fouled. The basket counts.
I've been beating this drum about getting that ball in the paint. Somehow you've got to get into the middle, either with the pass or dribble. Good strong drive here. Excellent ball handling in tight quarters.
Led the nation in assists this year.
Nice little cross.
Started his high school days. He actually. We had the likes of Danny Green going through his program. Later started at North Carolina. Then went to Suffolk Community College for a year. CW Post for 4 years. He made the Division II Elite 8.
And you know, when Cluse went to Iona, Machado ended up playing for Danny Hurley. Yeah. Another legendary Hurley family name. Not a bad play for Cluse and Hurley in your high school career.
BYU didn't have anybody back deep, but the missed shot by the Soufre. Zylstra, aware of his presence behind him. They have 4.5 minutes to go. The lead's at 6. Hartsock has it knocked out of bounds on the shot.
The Zoubre to change his shot, and he left it short. Well, you never give up on a play. If you can distract the shooter, sometimes it'll go your way.
Hartsock, shot contested, but he still hits the jumper right over to Soufre. Timeout called by Brigham. It's a new tradition, unlike any other. 4 minutes approaching, and a 4-point lead for Iona. Clever had someone reach in on him on the way up.
A little different way to attack the zone there. That was nice. They put Machado in the middle, and they found him. We not allowed Glover to run the baseline.
The belly of the zone is in the middle. But a good call by you, Steve, that Machado, your best passer.
Get into the groove of this game.
0 for 2 on that one.
Both teams over the limit now, so bonus free throws on common fouls both ways.
Hartsock turnaround shot, yes. Laker like turnaround, but not at the wire.
Automatic.
Yeah. It is.
It's a beautiful touch.
It sure is.
Got 20 on the game, 14 in this half. BYU twice has trimmed it to 1. Ashwin back up to 6. And now just a bucket apart with 3:20 to play. All tapped around, and Davies has someone bang into him. It's a foul and 1 on Zoufre. Davies is going to foul him out. That is his 5th. And we have a break in the action here in Dayton. We have not seen great free throw shooting tonight from any team in the building. BYU 6 out of 14 for the night. And they've got him backdoor, missing the shot. That was Glover.
Boy, that's the second one. Second point-blank shot that Iona has missed here in the last few minutes. Zoufre had that lay-in and transition that he couldn't get to go.
Hartsock doubled up, back outside, 2:39 to go.
They're not going to let Hartsock beat him on this possession.
2 to tie, 3 to take the lead. Houston, Hartsock, this for the lead, and BYU has come all the way back from 25 down to now lead it. An amazing comeback.
Guess I spoke too soon. Hartsock ends up with a wide open 3. They had been all over him in the early part of the possession, making sure he didn't have a good look. But BYU doing a great job moving the ball and finding their big man. He is on fire.
Timeout, Iona. Talked about tonight, you'd never seen a comeback in the last 5 minutes like the one pulled up by Western Kentucky. How about one from 25 down at any point in the game?
Got to be able to count. Wouldn't be able to count it on but one hand, Jim. And again, let's see how Iona attacks. Just down 1. But clearly, BYU has been dominant in this half, and the zone defense has really bottled up the Iona attack.
1:50 to go. Jenkins pass to the far side. They do not beat the shot clock.
Now, minus a couple of possessions, Iona just has not been able to solve this zone. Right. BYU really spread out, getting out to shooters. But the penetration that you were looking for earlier, Clark, we just have not seen enough of it. Their guards not able to get into the teeth of that zone.
See the difference in turnovers this half as well. Something Dave Rose talked about with Tracy Wolfson. 15 points for Iona this half and 12 turnovers for the Gales as well.
15 points after 55. Carlino should have taken the shot. He had an open look, and there's going to be a foul call on the ground, and it's on Glover.
68% free throw.
His 4th. It'll be a 1-and-1. Davies already missed the front end of a 1-and-1. Short. Rebound out to Jones with 1:15 to play.
Short never has a chance to go in, does he?
Jones up the front of the rim, and it's Davies with the rebound. 1 minute to play.
Like the shot. Jones got good penetration. That's a good look for him.
Got to defend without fouling now if you're Iona.
Davies takes a step, and he is fouled again.
That's it for Glover.
Is that it?
Yep.
It's number 5. And it'll be a double bonus, so the pressure of the 1-and-1 is off now for Davies.
I'm just shocked that Iona has 70 points right now with 45 seconds left in the game. They had 55 with 4.5 minutes left in the first half. Unbelievable.
2 shots for Davies. Got this one. Iona's gone scoreless the last 4:20. Will it be a 2-point margin or 3? Make it 3.
You don't need a 3 here if you're Iona. You need a quality shot. Although with Armand out there, if you can get a good look at the 3, you'd want him to take it.
Armand passes it over to the corner. James looking for help. Back out to Machado, trying to create something. Bounces it down low, and it's rejected by BYU. Out with it is Zylstra. Doesn't need to go all the way home, but he takes it in, and he's fouled. He's fouled, and a chance at a 3-point play. Brock Zylstra.
What a gutsy play. I thought he was going to maybe pull up and accept a foul and go to the free throw line, but he recognized a chance to maybe finish this game off, and he uses that strong body to get all the way to the hoop and draw the foul.
Kind of like when you see a quarterback running in football and guys think he's heading out of bounds. He stayed in bounds and got the and one.
Knocks it down, 6-point margin, 23 seconds. Machado, three-pointer, no. Rebound out to the Gales. Bank, no. Put back, yes, with 14 seconds and a timeout. 76-72, timeout Iona. Silstra and the BYU Cougars looking for one of the great comebacks in school history. Hartsock to inbound. Carlino immediately fouled. Took less than a second. I know that Dave Rose, old college coach, trying to pull off a shocking comeback as Carlino has 2. You've known this kid since he was born, Steve.
Yep, very good.
Talking about Carlino.
Yeah, very good family friend. Known him since his uncle, Brock Brunkhorst, played. He was a teammate of mine at University of Arizona. He's had a tough game today, but he's getting a reprieve here. He's going to get another shot at a tournament game against Marquette in a couple of days.
It's 2. Jones with the 3. That's off the mark. Pulled down by Cusack, and BYU is going to win this game. Who could have imagined? Down 25 in the first half. They storm back to victory. There's the first half where you wondered, wow, Iona Marquette, that could be a fascinating matchup. Well, and then all of a sudden, BYU, I'm sure Dave Rose will say it, this might be the most satisfying, rewarding win of his career.